You're listening to DraftKings Network.
God bless football, Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey, eh?
God bless football, Fuentes.
God bless football, Stugotz.
God bless football to one and all. Fuentes with a microphone, a camera in front of him. I mean, things are really picking up for Fuentes here.
Yeah, just like the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get
Oh,
out
why
of
is
here.
it raining by you guys?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just
Is
a
it
little
raining?
bit, yeah. I drove home in the ocean. I mean, yesterday, man. That's the scariest drive I've ever had yesterday. There's a lot to get into. Adam Schefter's going to join us. The response to his parents being on with us a week ago. Very much looking forward to that. We'll get his reaction. He was texting us all weekend. We have Tua still unsigned by the Dolphins. There is some NFL news. But, Billy, I think we need to start the most obvious place with Mikey A. And that is his feelings on Aaron Rodgers skipping what is a mandatory minicamp. Now, we went to all the voluntary stuff. He went to all the stuff he didn't have to go to. He did do that. No one's talking about that. But he skipped the one thing that he had to go to, and now everyone is upset with him.
Everyone is upset with him except me because in the end, we're talking about a 40-year-old who's missing 2 days of practice in June.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
I agree.
The problem is Robert Saleh comes out and he's like, it's unexcused. We hate it. It's inexcused. Like, you had no other way to say what you had to say to the media.
Oh, I don't care.
But other than to say,
Mikey,
Rodgers is inexcused.
Mikey, I don't care that Saleh said it. I don't care. However they did it, they did it. To me, it's obvious, okay? Saleh has lost that locker room, and everyone thinks Aaron Rodgers is running that organization. So Rodgers told Saleh, hey, I'm not going to be there for minicamp. Here's my excuse. And it was not, for Saleh, it was not a good excuse. But what Rodgers, I'm certain, told Saleh is, hey, listen, I'm doing it whether you want me to or not, and if you have to find me to save some face in the locker room and within the organization and with the fan base, go ahead and do it. And so Saleh did it, and I'm good with that because Saleh has to have some sort of power over this football team, doesn't he? I mean, no? Billy, no? You don't think he does? You don't think the head coach should have any power over this team?
No, I do think he should have power. Yeah, he doesn't.
Right.
I think he should.
Yeah.
He
He should.
The rare losing the locker room in June, huh?
I mean, none of this matters if Aaron shows up and he plays well. None of it. I think that's Mikey's point. It doesn't matter how it went down. It doesn't matter that Aaron wasn't there. It doesn't matter how Saleh presented it to the media. None of it will matter if he plays and plays well come September.
What's really interesting about this is you can see how much hate has built up for Aaron Rodgers over the time, because for the last 14 months, he's been a model citizen for the Jets. And the minute he missed 2 practices in June, everyone's like, oh, this is the guy we know. This is the guy. Everything is about Rodgers. He's missing 2 days of practice in June. Who cares?
I think Billy scoffed at him doing all the right things since he became a Jets.
Yeah.
Apart from his Achilles didn't do the right thing, but everything else did.
I think some of the comments is what Billy was referring to.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing. If he doesn't get off to a good start in September, right? And then it's like, well, he missed all of last year and it's going to take time for him to get on the same page with his receivers. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what this time was for, when he chose not to show up for no reason after telling everybody just this year, hey, stick to football. Everything, all the BS, I believe is how he said it, all the BS outside of football, we're getting rid of that. We're only focusing on football and winning. And then the first opportunity he gets to be there, he's not there for BS, essentially. And we don't even know what it was, because the report that we got, I think the best, most informed report we got was from Diana Rossini, who simply said he wanted to be somewhere else instead, which is not an excuse.
But when you're the Jets, it is. We're so desperate to have a quarterback. I'm good with that. I don't care. This is why he wanted to go to the Jets. The Packers wouldn't let him do this. The Jets, go ahead. Do whatever you want. We'll find you $16,000. I mean,
But you see why that's a problem for the Jets, right?
Of
Like
course
other
I
teams
do.
wouldn't let him do that.
Sure.
The Jets would.
I know, but Billy,
Sure.
Billy, this is like within the top 10 of a long list of problems with the New York Jets. Like we're used to this, we're accustomed to this, but we've never had a quarterback with this kind of talent. So if he's going to act like an ass, let him act like an ass as long as he plays well in September.
How much is he getting this year? 50 million?
A lot.
Yeah, so you're gonna find a guy 150K is making 50 million. I don't think he's gonna care a lot about what you're telling him. Yeah.
Billy's upset.
I mean, the fines, it's a story for another day. But the way that they just give up hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines all willy-nilly is insane to me. I don't understand it. Lamar Jackson gave away $750,000 in bonuses.
Yeah, crazy.
Because he signed a new contract last offseason, obviously, and one of the bonus clauses that he had was show up to 80% of the offseason workouts. And he skipped like 4 out of 5, so he then forfeits $750,000 in bonuses. Easy. You just show up there, you drink a Powerade, a Gatorade, whatever your beverage of choice is while you're there.
Right.
You say, you know what? Today's an elliptical day for me. I'm just going to sit on the stationary bike, or no, I'm going to, help mentor the young, or you just walk around. You basically just go in with your key card, right? You scan yourself in,
I love it.
and then you just walk around. You be seen by Coach Harbaugh. You be seen by your positions coach. You just keep it moving the whole time, right? Someone's always like, "Where's Lamar?" I don't know. Maybe he's getting treatment or something. Oh, he's with the trainer. Oh, I don't know. He's doing some tape. Oh, he's getting new short. Who knows? No one knows. Just scan yourself in, make yourself visible to people that need to see you. Every day you have to be there, and then you disappear.
Billy is so right about this.
Scan yourself in. Take one picture with one person,
right,
and then leave. This way, the picture is proof. I was there.
No, you make sure to like make eye contact. You say, "Hey, coach, how's it going?" You check in with everybody. Go, "Oh yeah," and they're like, "You seen Lamar? You seen Lamar?" No, he must be doing something. And football teams are big, right? And the voluntary or the mandatory off-season drills. There's so many extra people there who are just trying to make the team. There's so many bodies that you lose track of where everybody is, right? And Lamar's not going to be doing anything meaningful in these practices anyways.
Right, yeah.
He just has to go check in and be seen, which is crazy because I'm then arguing that Aaron has to be there for the exact opposite reason, that it's important for him to be there, while telling you that Lamar doesn't have to be there. But I think you understand my point.
I do. I'm so proud of you. I really am. Plus, Billy, you left out a key component to this. You slap on the old red jersey. No one can touch you. Yeah. That's it. Right.
Exactly right.
I mean,
all you need is that one guy who's like, "Hey, where's Lamar?" And then the other guy goes, "Oh, he's just here. I just saw him a second ago."
Yeah, but he moves
Exactly
quickly.
right.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, I just saw him.
He's elusive.
Yeah, he's right over there. Just right there.
You turn around, the guy's
He's working
gone.
on his agility.
Yeah, I said hi to Lenny there, and then I took off.
Yeah.
Avoiding
he
the
needs
rest
a
of his team.
co-conspirator.
He
He
does.
needs someone on his
Correct.
side whose job it is just to be like, "No, he went to the bathroom." Like, "Oh, he's been having tummy issues. He's in the bathroom again." Like, "No, we're not going to bother him today." You know?
Yes, I do know, right?
We've all been there.
Yes, someone who has his back, Billy. Yes, exactly. Right. Billy, I was saying before the show, it'd be a lot easier if you had $300 million to give up $250,000. If you had that kind of money, it would be easier. But after hearing your passionate explanation, you're right, and I apologize to you. I lashed out at you, and I apologize. It is the easiest $750,000 Lamar Jackson would have ever made. You are 1,000% right. No hits, no conversations, no nothing. Scan the card, walk in, walk out.
Well, I mean, it's $750,000, and he just was in a contract negotiation for more money.
Right.
And teams didn't want to give him money, and then a team gave him money. He's like, you can take it back. I don't want to show up.
The thing that's funny is he had to go to 80% of the workouts to get the bonus.
Yeah.
He decided to miss 80% and then go the last day. For that, just go the full 100.
Right.
Get the whole
Exactly
thing. I already
right.
lost
So you say he just
$750,000.
read it wrong?
Yeah, maybe.
Or
maybe.
He doesn't have an
imagine
agent.
showing up for work. Imagine showing up for work Monday through Thursday.
Correct. Show up on
Or
Friday.
skipping work Monday
Yeah.
through Thursday. You show up Friday, headed into a weekend. Why would you do that?
Why
Go
show
Monday
up
through
on
Thursday.
Friday?
Give yourself a long weekend.
Well, this is interesting, right? Because if you show up to one day of work, it's the first day. You show up Monday, take the rest of the week off, right, Billy? I mean, that's but I'm agreeing with you. You certainly don't attend the first 4 days and then, or don't attend,
No,
miss the
the
first 4
opposite,
days and attend the 5th day. That's what you can't do. That is a terrible job by Lamar, and I question whether or not he'll ever win a Super Bowl.
Just based off this. That's it.
This fact.
Does he have an agent? I mean,
Probably not. I don't think so.
No,
I'm not certain he does
No.
because that's the agent's
No, he
job to
doesn't.
make sure you go to that camp, like, because he's getting a commission as well.
He sent a text in the morning. Hey, big day, Lamar.
Wait, you didn't go? $750,000. That's $75K for me.
You let him miss the Monday, and then you text him on Tuesday. Hey, heading out to OTAs today? Big week.
What do you imagine, guys? What do you imagine the excuse Rodgers used to Saleh that was acceptable to Rodgers but not acceptable to Robert Saleh? Like, do you have any? You care to venture a guess there?
I got a top 5 for that.
Why? Get
Ooh,
out of
really?
here.
I got a top 5 for that. Top 5 places Rodgers went instead of going to mandatory minicamp.
You have in your mind. You have top 5 places. So there's a conversation. It's Rodgers. It's Saleh. I'm missing mandatory minicamp because I have to go to X. You have the top 5 places that he most likely went to.
Yes.
This is amazing. I can't believe you had that. I mean, we walked right into it. Yeah.
It's almost like we planned it.
Right.
Almost.
I got the fanfare ready if you want to do it.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah,
Number
let's go.
5. Timeshare at Jake Plummer's mushroom farm.
Timeshare, huh?
Yeah, he's got a timeshare at Jake Plummer's mushroom farm.
Well, why does he have a timeshare?
Because this is his week.
Okay.
He had to go.
Okay. But who gets wrapped up in a timeshare?
Rodgers.
You ever go to the hotels and they tell you, hey, just sit down, we'll take you for a tour for an hour and you get a free stay.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're wrapped up in a timeshare that you can't get out of. I mean, it's crazy.
You should see Jake Plummer sell it.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, he's meeting with the Vikings for his next stop.
Yep, Favre, Packers to the Jets to the Vikings. We're a bridge team.
Number 3.
Yep.
Number 3, McAfee already had him booked this week.
So you have him going to Robert Saleh saying, I have to make an appearance on the Pat McAfee show. He has spent more
McAfee
time.
had me booked already.
He has spent more time on that show than on the Jets field. Anyway, number 2.
Number 2, he's trying to find a house with better cell service.
What's the matter with you? Number 1.
He's attending a family reunion.
Billy's
I don't
making
know
a
about that
face.
You don't think so?
I think it's possible his excuse was just, I'm Aaron Rodgers. And then Robert Saleh's like, well, that's not an acceptable answer. He's like, yes, it is.
Yeah,
and then he just didn't come.
Yeah. For you, it is.
Yeah.
For this team, for this organization, it is acceptable.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Right. Watch how acceptable it's going to be. I'm not going to show up. You're going to find me money that I don't care about, and I'm still going to be your starting quarterback, even if I don't show up to any practices and I just show up to the first game.
Stugotz,
Yo.
Mikey,
Yeah.
Fuentes.
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw, we're not going to have him on this week. We haven't spoken to him in some time. Hopefully next week. But Chris Sims is doing that thing again.
What do you mean he's doing the thing? I did reach
What
out
thing?
to Chris Sims, and I do expect him to join us next week, so we're good.
Yeah,
But
he's
what's
doing
this
that
thing he's doing?
where
Yeah.
he does his top 40 quarterbacks, and then he just randomly puts people in random places, and puts Tua way too low every season, and then
Where do you have
he
him?
tries to give him little cutesy wootsy grouping names, and these 4 like these are the rising star firecracker fireworks shooting stars, and this is the blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, Chris, like, whatever. and I'm not gonna say, look, we're not gonna talk about it this week because we're supposed to have him on next week, and we can discuss this with him. I know, and he will deny this. I know that he's doing some of these things to irritate me. I know
Really?
it.
Just you.
Whether he's aware of it or not,
Oh my
I
God.
know that some of these things are being done to irritate just me specifically, and I'm in his head. And I should be proud, but I'm not, because I feel like, respectfully, it's clouding his judgment. It's clouding his judgment.
Right.
He's just trying to agitate me. He misses us. He misses me in particular.
Mhm.
Hasn't spoken to us. So he does these things to get our attention, to get us to call him back. So then we go and we start talking to him, because I think he was a little worried. We flirted with his brother Matt Sims more recently than we've spoken to Chris Sims, I believe.
Yeah.
So he didn't like that. So now he's trying to get us. He's trying to get our attention. by putting out these ridiculous rankings that
Right.
make no sense.
You're saying this is a passive-aggressive way for Chris Sims to be communicating with us. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if he's even
Billy,
aware that
not
he's
us.
doing it.
Right, just
Billy.
Billy.
I don't know if he's even aware that he's doing it or not.
Right.
We'll discuss it with him when we talk to him. But again, I should feel good about the fact that apparently I'm in his head and this is what's going on. But I feel bad because, this is his career and he looks like a darn fool for doing such things,
Right, sure.
like to the masses.
Right.
Because the lists are absurd. Don't even get me started on his list.
Mikey, you know what's going on here. He has Tua as the 18th ranked quarterback in the NFL.
Just
Oh,
absurd.
that's a shot fired at you.
It's a shot at Billy. It's a direct shot at Billy.
but-
He is one spot ahead of Geno Smith.
The league leader in passing yards. Get out of here.
He's 2 spots ahead of Caleb Williams, who's never
Yeah.
taken a snap. Oh, Sims. You're right. He's speaking to you.
And he sounds
is.
like he
Yeah.
sounds like a fool, if you ask me. I'm sorry for using such harsh language, but
It's all right.
How great would it be if he came on next week and the first thing he says is, "I'm glad you got my message, Billy."
he doesn't know he's doing it. I'm telling you.
Well, Billy's
a good
firing
guy,
back
but
right
he's
now.
not,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's a good guy, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, so he's not aware of what
Oh,
he's doing.
Jesus Christ. I can't wait to have him back. Make sure Fuentes, make sure we're playing this back for Sims next week, please.
No,
Billy-
don't. You didn't need to do that.
Okay, we won't do that. I want to ask Adam Schefter going to join us coming up here. We will break down. We'll get his reaction to us having his parents on last week. They were delightful. We'll also get up to speed on everything going on in the NFL. Mikey A, Tua or Brock Purdy? Who would you take? I'm doing all the quarterbacks Sims has ranked ahead of Tua. Tua or Brock Purdy? And I want you to say it in front of Billy. Who you taking?
Brock Purdy.
Oh, wow. Fuentes?
Tua. I mean, not even close.
Billy's so mad
Baker
at me.
Mayfield is ahead of him. Trevor Lawrence is
Well-
ahead of him. His obsession with Trevor Lawrence,
Well, I know.
guy,
That's the first one I
admit you were
disagree
wrong.
with.
admit
That's
you
the
were
first
wrong
one I
about Trevor
disagree
Lawrence
with.
already. Trevor Lawrence, I'm gonna say I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Trevor Lawrence, bust.
Wow.
I've been saying this for 2 years. You're
Wow.
late. Yeah, you're
Wow.
You're late to this party.
Yeah, but he did it
Yeah,
with
but
his
you didn't
hand
say it
cupped
like
over
that.
the mic.
You didn't say
Yeah.
it like that. Yeah.
Bust.
Yep.
And I did it like this, so
Yeah.
you can't see what I'm saying in case he has like an MVP season here. There's no clear video of me saying bust, and then I could just accuse you of changing what I said.
Don't worry.
Bust.
He's not going to have an MVP season. So
You want to try it? Say it with your hand cuffed to the mic, though. Say
no,
it.
I'll say it. Trevor Lawrence is
Oh,
done.
you want him to hear you.
Yeah,
You
it's
want-
Done.
Terrible.
He's done.
Guy stinks.
He's 25.
I can't even blame him.
Sam Darnold is the starter in Minnesota, but Trevor Lawrence is done.
Sam Darnold is not a starting caliber quarterback. We know that. I don't know what Minnesota's doing.
That's what the coach said.
I'm not
Yeah,
so
okay.
sure.
'Cause
Listen,
all
this,
these guys are geniuses.
it would not be the first time that a Jet quarterback left the Jets and then many, many, many years later became good somewhere else. Geno Smith.
Yeah, I love this. He has 2 guys that are almost 40 with torn Achilles ahead of Tua.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
I will say this. He's so smart. He says who the best quarterbacks are. He has J.J. McCarthy at number 30 and Sam Darnold at 33. And J.J. McCarthy is a backup to Sam Darnold. So
wow.
what does he know?
Shots
But we're not
fired.
going to do this today. Sorry.
You should have done that with your hand cuffed.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it today.
Okay.
By the way, speaking of former Jet quarterbacks that might be starting, did you see who's might be starting in Denver right now?
Yep, Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Zach Wilson.
It's my biggest fear. Seriously. It's my biggest fear that Sean Payton is somehow going to turn Zach Wilson into everything Chris Sims told us he would be.
I love this. He has Ryan Tannehill ranked over Anthony Richardson. Tannehill currently a free agent.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson.
He also
is
has
starting.
ranked 2 Denver Broncos quarterbacks. One is Bo Nix. The other is Jarrett Stidham. And guess who's not on that list?
His guy.
Mm-hmm.
This
Zach
list
Wilson.
this list just made me a Bryce Young fan.
Listen, Sims has figured it out. He has us talking about his list.
Yeah, joke's on us.
Unbelievable.
He's having the last laugh right now. We don't care what we say about him. That guy. Who would you rather have, Tua or Kyler Murray? He ranked Kyler Murray ahead of Tua. Oh, my God.
Oof.
Kyler
All
Murray.
right. I'll take Tua.
Did you say Kyler Fuentes?
I said Kyler. Yeah,
He's a Kyler Murray guy.
yeah.
All right.
I like Kyler Murray.
Baker, Tua.
Tua.
Baker.
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 Sorry, Billy.
No, I'm out.
That's
No. I would take Tua over
Yeah,
Baker.
I'm out on Baker.
I'm just doing it for the joke. Now, this is an interesting one, and I don't know what the answer is. Aaron Rodgers or Tua? He has Rodgers 4 spots ahead of Tua here. Oh, my God. Take Rodgers.
Oh,
Would
yeah, I
you?
mean, you're letting Rodgers do whatever he wants, run around and run your organization. I was going to say run it into the ground, but like you're there already.
It
So
was already run into the ground.
what's he actually doing?
Wait, Billy.
We need to climb up to get to the ground.
Billy.
Yeah.
Geno Smith is on this list. Sam Darnold's on this list. These are all guys who were drafted by the Jets. And the other guy who's not on the list that should be on the list, Zach Wilson. I mean, we have been running to the ground, my friend. Aaron's trying to save us. I don't care. He can run amok as long as he wins us 12 games. That's all. All I care about. Anyway, you taking A-Rod?
Yes, Russell Wilson also ahead of Justin Fields, which is interesting.
It is. You
We'll
think
see.
you think Fields is going to return like punts and play wide receiver? They're talking about him having like that kind of like Cordell Stewart, like that kind of
No
role.
way.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I'm serious. He's a great athlete.
No, you're not gonna. No way.
He's not going to do it.
I mean,
I wouldn't do that.
Justin
Would
Fields is
you?
going to be the starting
Well, he's not-
quarterback in weeks.
Yeah, if he's returning kicks, it's a little different now with the new rules. So it's not like he's going to be taking a bunch of big
That's
hits
true.
in theory. So I can understand it, but it's just like this big investment. Can you imagine like he gets hurt returning a kick and then Russell Wilson goes down like 2 plays later? Now what do you do?
That's a good point.
It's a stupid ass thing to
Tomlin-
think about.
Tomlin also just signed a 3-year extension. So why is he going to sign himself up for 3 years and then get both of his quarterbacks injured by accident and not have a quarterback again?
What you guys are saying is fair, but maybe he's determined that Justin Fields isn't any good at quarterback
Maybe. Yeah.
and might be better
Why do you
served.
trade for him?
I mean, they're not. I don't think they're paying him. I think the Bears are paying him. I believe.
Yeah, I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like
Well, the Broncos are still paying Russell Wilson, so I don't know what's going on with the Bears and Justin Fields. But I've watched Justin Fields because I believed in him and I drafted him high in my fantasy leagues. That guy would be a better running back than he is a quarterback. I'm telling you, he's so good as a runner. He is so good as a passer.
I mean, we say that because we see him on broken plays take off and there's nobody knowing he's coming. But if all of a sudden you're telling him to go between the tackles, I don't know how good he'd be. Yeah.
Fair point.
It's-
I think your other point was the better point.
Yeah.
Different.
I
What
mean,
if he gets hurt running the football, then Wilson gets hurt 3 plays later?
like let's not forget Russell's like old. He's 35, I think.
Yeah.
Like, so that's old for a quarterback.
Right.
You know who's not getting any love, and I've become a huge fan of his just because I want him to succeed is Bo Nix.
Why?
I don't know, because everybody's dogging him so bad, and he's been in college for like 30 years, and now I just want him to do good.
I mean, he's off to a bad start if Mikey's telling you that Zach Wilson might be the starter.
Just fuel to my Bo Nix fire.
Yeah.
Just a quick update on Justin Fields. So Justin Fields' salary for this season, I think, is $4.7 million-ish, more or less.
Right.
And the Steelers already voided his $25 million option for next season. So
Not going
will
too
not
great.
be making that. Yeah.
Running back.
Look, man,
Why not?
$4 million for running back now. Like, maybe you're onto something.
That's a bargain, right? Right. How much is Eckler getting? I mean,
I think he's getting like 7, right?
I think he got 7 or 8 million.
He has a lot of like bonuses and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Also, crazy disrespect for Gardner Minshew on this list, by the way.
Why? Where is he?
39.
I mean, where do you want him to be?
He's a starter for the Raiders. I mean, he's
Billy, who's the guy that's really like, who's the guy? There's got to be a guy that's ahead of Tua that's really driving you crazy. Like the one guy.
That's really driving me crazy.
Yeah, because he has like, if he really wanted to communicate to you in a passive aggressive way, there are a lot of guys he could have put ahead of Tua, like Daniel Jones. Okay,
Daniel Jones is 23.
Right, so
but he's close enough.
So I'm saying of the guys ahead of Tua, Purdy, Murray, Mayfield.
I think Billy said it with Trevor.
Oh, it's Trevor.
Billy's-
That's his guy.
Billy's offended by how close Daniel Jones is to his quarterback.
He should be.
Well, and Russell Wilson, by the
Yeah.
way.
And also, like, do I really love Matt Stafford at 5?
Sims loves Stafford.
I know.
I was wondering about that too, but like
Matt Stafford is the
the
guy
5th
that
best
all
quarterback in the
former
league.
quarterbacks love.
Yeah, but he's not
He's
as
the
good
guy
as,
that all the former quarterbacks love.
but I'm taking CJ
And
Stroud
CJ
over him.
Stroud.
I'm taking CJ Stroud over him right now. Like CJ Stroud is at 7. Like it's I don't know, and Dak too.
Billy, I got to be honest. I enjoy talking about Sims's list more without Sims than I do with Sims. I mean,
Well, yeah, because when he's on and we do this, he's going to give actual
Because he
logical
hits us with
reasons.
logic.
Exactly
Nah.
right, and I have no interest in that.
Yeah, I don't want to hear his Trevor Lawrence logic. I don't want to hear that crap.
I don't care about his logic. Do it on the field. Oh, we know you like Trevor Lawrence because you talked to him at the Hall of Fame game 2 years ago. We get it. He's your friend. Like, enough.
Adam Schefter
Jeez.
next, Chris Sims next week.
Oh, you got me?
Hey.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, hold on. I gotta watch my guy Bryson hit his second shot on a par 5 here. Hold on 1 second. This is big.
Oh, Bryson.
This
Is he who you have in the pool?
You watching golf is amazing. I mean,
I live and die with every one of the shots of the golfer that I take. Bryson's our guy this week in the pool. Here's his second shot on the second after he bogeyed 1.
oh God, please tell me
He's
we're
laying
wrong.
up. He looks like he's laying up too.
Right.
We can't see you, Adam. Your camera's off.
It doesn't
That's
keep all of it in the
intentional or not,
podcast. I don't
yeah.
care. I mean, the guy just broke down DeChambeau's shot at the U.S. Open. I mean, keep talking golf.
Oh, he's on in 2 without iron. Was that a 4 or 5? Anyway, okay. Yeah,
What happened?
we're in good. Is he playing a par 5 or a 4? Hold on 1 second, because he just ironed into a 5. There's no way, right? Hold on.
Oh,
1
no,
second.
he can hit an iron. He can hit a low iron into a 5.
Bryson can, yeah.
Yeah, easily.
No,
Like
it's
a
a 4.
4.
I think it's a 4. I think it's a 4. It's a 4. Yeah, he's on. Okay, all good. All good.
All right.
All right. We can't see you, though. I mean,
Oh, you can't. Oh, hold on. Oh,
I love you. Yes.
Fuck. I don't mean to be as clueless as my dad. God damn.
No.
That was perfect.
What a perfect way to enter into this conversation. I want you to feel free at any point during this conversation to break down whatever it is Bryson DeChambeau is doing at Pinehurst 2 U.S. Open, okay?
Wait, if you don't mind me, like, just peering over my left shoulder to watch his shots.
I don't mind. In fact, I encourage it, and I encourage you to do play-by-play if you don't mind, okay?
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Hey, Billy, the quarterback you were ripping in the first 2 segments of today's show, Trevor Lawrence, according to Adam Schefter, is now the highest paid, tied with Joe Burrow on an annual basis, tied with Joe Burrow at $55 million a year. Trevor Lawrence got $275 million for the Jaguars after Billy spent 2 segments bashing Trevor Lawrence. Billy, your thoughts before Adam.
I don't know if it's fair to say I was bashing him. I just said he's kind of just
You
been.
were.
No, I just said he did I say he was a bust? Maybe I said he was a bust. I just said he's
Yes.
been kind
covered
of
your mouth.
average so far. You know, like he hasn't been what he was promised to be as of yet, which is not
Right.
untrue. He hasn't been spectacular.
Right. Now, keep in mind, I don't know if Adam will give an opinion on Trevor Lawrence's play. He just reports the news.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Adam.
I'll say this. I noticed that Billy's wearing a Dolphins hat.
That's true. Yeah, and if you
and
if you
Trevor Lawrence got 55, how much do you think Tua's getting?
Right.
Man, I don't know. The numbers
40.
are getting crazy right now. But Tua's also like Tua's camp doesn't seem like they want to back down, but Miami obviously does not want to give him anywhere in the $50 million range, or they would have already done so, right? So I don't know how this game ends for them.
Well, I think the interesting part there is not on the number. I mean, I think we could all come to a number. I think it's the guarantees with his injury history. Do you guarantee him? What did Trevor get in guarantees? $200 million? Are you guaranteeing Tua Tagovailoa $200 million? And knock on wood, what happens if he gets concussed early in the year next year? What happens then?
I mean, I guess you could say that about any quarterback. I understand. But, like, one of the big things he checked off last year was he started every game, right?
Yeah, but how many times has he done that during his college or pro careers? And what happened the year before with the concussions, where he became that year, right or wrong, fair or unfair, the poster boy for concussions? How many times do we see him get thrown around and go down? And so I don't know. I think that's something that's got to be problematic. Now, if you're Tua, also knowing that, you want to get the deal done this year. You don't want to step foot on a football field and play in a game without your guaranteed money, whatever that guaranteed money is. And if you're the Dolphins, To me, I mean, it's just, to me, that's a little trickier, that one, than Trevor Lawrence.
The thing about Tua, Adam, that we've discussed that's weird, I guess, is that Tua seems, and we don't know him personally, obviously, we've spoken to him on the show, but we don't know him. He seems like too nice of a guy to make that much of a stink. Like, he doesn't seem like someone that's going to hold out. He seems like he's going to say the right things. And, like, to your point with the injury history that everybody brings up, while it was touted as something positive, hey, Tua's slimmed down, he's dropped 10 pounds so he can be more mobile, more agile this season. For me, that was a red flag. It's like, well, I mean, you may have been a little heavier last year, but I don't want you out there scrambling around. I don't want you to be able to be tossed around there. Like, that's kind of concerning, is that you think that you should be dumping some weight where now you're going to be easier to throw around, and that's where you get in your injury trouble.
Well, I'll tell you this much. I think that he's a really good quarterback, and I think he's also excellent on the guitar. His version of Wagon Wheel is off the charts. Outstanding. I could sing along to that every single day of the week. Like when I saw him playing Wagon Wheel at the Super Bowl last year, that's one of those, it just stays in your head. It's outstanding. Great job by Tua.
This is not why we had you on to talk football. We'll get to your parents here in a second. But Mikey we have a couple of football questions for you beyond Tua. Mikey, go ahead.
Well, you mentioned the injuries are the holdup with Tua, but what's the holdup with Dak?
Well, Dak has the most leverage of any player in the NFL. Dak's in a situation. Oh, Bryson just went way past the cup. Oh,
was it a par 4 or par 5? Do you know?
4.
It's a 4. Yeah, so his third shot went way past the cup?
Yeah, and now he's got a nervy par putt. Okay.
A nervy par putt. It's
a nervy par putt.
What hole is he
not
on?
too short, not too short, not too long, but enough where you're nervous about it. A nervy par putt is exceptional.
Dak is in a situation where he is the 2024 version plus of Kirk Cousins, because he's got a clause in his contract where he can't be traded. He's got a clause in his contract where he can't be tagged. If you're Dak Prescott, how old is Dak Prescott? I'm guessing he's 31 years old. I'm guessing. You could tell me as I
He's 30.
Continue talking.
He turns 31 this season. He turned 31 July 29th.
So my guess was right.
Yep.
If you're that age and you're that talented and you have the ability to get to market, true free agent, your leverage is off the charts.
Yes.
Like you by the way, let's just go through this in our minds, okay? Let's have fun with this for a moment.
Okay.
After the season, if Aaron Rodgers decides he's not playing again, if the Jets season goes south, how much would the Jets be willing to pay Dak Prescott next year?
A lot.
Okay. Where's Dak Prescott from? Mississippi, I believe?
Yeah, I think so.
What if it doesn't work out with Derek Carr this year and the Falcons have Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, and the Panthers, we'll see about Bryce Young. By the way, it could be another spot if he doesn't work out. But What would the Saints be willing to pay Dak Prescott to bring him back there?
A lot.
What if Daniel Jones doesn't work out?
A lot.
So, by the way, there's just 3 teams, like just off the top of my head, random, without thinking. And Dak's an unrestricted free. Remember the feeding frenzy there was for Derek Carr when he became a free agent? Remember the feeding frenzy there was for Kirk Cousins? You're Dak Prescott. You're coming off a good year. Not to mention, I would think that Dallas is going to want to keep him. Not to mention that, right? So,
yeah,
Dak, in my mind, is going to reset the quarterback market when he gets a new deal, whether you like it or not. He's in the right spot at the right. He's played his cards right, and he's a good quarterback.
Played him perfectly. But how did Jerry get himself in this spot by playing them so poorly?
Because they seem to be playing from behind all along on it. Like they were always letting the deal wind down, and when it wound down, they had to give in on certain areas that other teams might not have. Like the Jaguars are doing this deal with Trevor Lawrence now. You might not like him, but he's under contract through 2030. So they're not getting in this situation with him. You know, the Packers last year, they're in an interesting spot with Jordan Love. They extended it last year. Here's the nervy par putt, by the way. About 5 feet.
Tell us what happens. He's in a golf fantasy league with his friends every week, weekly league.
Every week.
Really?
And Bryson's our pick this week in the U.S.
he's got
Open.
Bryson. Yes, that's why he's so honed in on this, Billy.
Okay.
Drained it.
Oh,
Okay,
hit the
we're good
nervy
to go.
par putt. Hit the
good to
nervy
go.
par putt.
Made the nervy par putt. Yes.
I hate nervy par putts. Drive me crazy.
Nothing like a nervy par putt. Anyway,
I always
so-
ask my friend, "Hey, we good here or what?"
The Cowboys just allowed themselves to get into a spot where they ran into that deal further along than they should have, in my mind. And now they're in that spot again. And this is a deal that could have been done last year to avoid this. This is a deal that could have been reworked before the offseason began to give them more cap space. There are any number of spots and junctures in which they could have gotten a deal done with him and didn't. And now Dak is sitting there in a spot where he's got more leverage than anybody.
By the way, he's from Louisiana, so the Saints is you were dead on there. I mean,
it's a home run. It's a home run, right?
Or the Jets and Giants. I mean, you never know. It's impossible. Just quickly before we get to your parents here, it is possible that. Well, you tell us. Would Tua play this year without a long-term deal?
Yeah. Oh, he has to.
Okay.
What's his option?
Maybe Dak to the Dolphins. You never know. I mean,
By the way, that's another one. If the Dolphins decide that the price for Tua is more than they want to pay, you know what? Let's wait for Dak to become a free agent. We'll pay him.
It's crazy.
I mean, you can just keep adding this scenario. And by the way, there are going to be 5 teams that have terrible years this year. And you're going to say, well, they can use a new quarterback. Mm-hmm. And what if Matthew Stafford retires? What if Kyler Murray doesn't work out? We go on and on. And there's going to be only one Dak. So the number in my mind is going to be higher than you would think it's going to be because he has more leverage in my mind, as I've said, than any player in the National Football League right now. Right now.
It's amazing. So I asked you a couple of weeks ago if you wouldn't mind giving me your mom's phone number. Billy,
and I didn't think you were hitting on her. I didn't think you were hitting on her.
No, I know it was, but it was an odd text to send you. Hey, can I have your mom's number? Yeah, and you were nice enough, and you trusted me with her number and having her and your father on the show. So it started with a chance encounter that Billy had on a cruise with your mom. He spent 2 floors on an elevator with her. They hit it off. Billy told us that he had met someone who had changed the world because without your mom, Adam Schefter obviously does not exist, and all this great news breaking that we get from the NFL would never have happened. Mm-hmm. Do you view it that way, that like Billy does, that your mother has changed the world?
You know, it's funny. We'll get to all this. I listened to the podcast initially
yes.
before I get to the second part of it. And when you said that, I'm like, change the world. I actually, again, my mom is such a force. She's so dynamic that I believe that she's changed the world in her own way. I never even associated it with me when he asked the question. I never even thought of it that way.
Right.
I really didn't, because she is the ultimate social animal. She's got infinitely more friends than I do. There are people that she meets that she leaves a mark on. I, to this day, get stopped at the Super Bowl, at football events, where people come up to me and they don't ask about my children. They don't ask about my wife. They don't ask about me. They ask about my mom, right? That's the kind of mark that she has left on people. So when you said to her, or Billy said to her, you changed the world, that was my first observation. Like, they don't know my mom that well to know that she changed the world in her own way, but she has. And so that was how I thought of the question.
Okay.
Truly.
We viewed it in our way.
Yeah.
Right. Which is not the way I viewed it at all.
But to be honest, and no disrespect, after talking to your mom, why are you so boring, you know?
You know what? Billy.
Yes.
That may be the smartest, truest thing you've ever said on this show.
Such a good question.
It's so true. And by the way, my mother mocks me for that all the time. Like,
oh, good.
And I am. You won't find many people more boring than me. I admittedly have.
I don't think so.
Less than zero life. Less than zero life.
He was just going
Yeah,
for
I
the
was
joke.
kidding. Yeah, sorry.
No one thinks you're boring.
Oh no, my mom thinks I'm boring. My parents, because they're not.
I mean, she set the bar so high on energy
Yeah.
and not being boring that it's impossible to live up to that, you know?
No, I am in my own way. I have a boring life. I don't think I am boring, but I think my life is boring.
I don't think so. I think that if you enter a room, everyone wants to talk to you. I mean, they want to get information out of you, but they want to talk to you.
You know what's interesting about that is this past week, I was on Capitol Hill. I'm working with this company to help promote awareness for people to be screened for type 1 diabetes. My wife is type 1 diabetic, and we went to Congress. And it was me and Robin Arzón from Peloton and Usher, the three of us, going through the halls of Congress.
Just boring
and
stuff.
meeting with congressmen and congresswomen, and it was unbelievable being there and people wanting to talk. I mean, Usher was mobbed, obviously, but it was very cool the whole day. The stories that I got to hear were powerful, emotional, moving, and people wanted to talk, and it was not always just football, but a lot of the times it was just football. Representative Jim Joyce from Pennsylvania, great man, walks into his office and he says to me right away, "I read your book." I'm like, "Well, hold on. Not only did you read, like, you knew I had a book, like, you know who I am." Like that to me was unbelievable. He says, "And my son Dan, he's a big fan. He's autistic, and he watches you." I said, "Let's get Dan on the phone right now." So he takes out his phone. I take his phone. I said, "Press your son's phone number." He presses Dan's number. Dan goes, "Hello?" And I go, "Dan." And he goes, "Adam." Without any conversation, without any preview that I was calling.
Amazing.
And Dan knew my voice from saying Dan. Just like that. That blew me away.
You're a good man, Adam Schefter. You really are.
Dan and I spoke for 10 minutes. I gave him fancy tips. I set up his fancy lineup.
Oh.
I gave him my sleeper pick that I will not share anywhere. Dan knows it.
Wow.
I'm like, "Dan, here's your last pick in your last round." I always have one of these guys. Alvin Kamara was that for me during his rookie year. Kyron Williams was that guy for me. And I said, "Dan, here's your guy. You're taking this guy." You got it. You got it, Adam.
Imagine if you got your mom on the phone with him. You'd have been really excited.
Well, no, let's get Dan on the podcast. I mean,
Here we go.
He's got all the answers.
he was a really, really, really nice man. Dan was nice. John Joyce, the congressman from Pennsylvania, who's a doctor, by the way, he was outstanding. And it was very cool. So again, to get back to the initial thing, I have a very boring life. But yes, Billy, I will confirm there are people that do enjoy talking to you sometimes. That's nice.
I will tell you when I walk into a room and there's Usher and Adam Schefter, I'm sprinting to Adam Schefter. I mean, I'm just telling you. So you guys watched it. We were laughing in a group text, me, you, Mikey A, and Billy, because you started watching on YouTube. Well, why don't you tell the story? Because you and your daughter had some laughs at your parents' expense. Okay.
Okay. Now, here's. I don't even know where to go with this. There's so many ways I could go with this. But you guys sent me the podcast to listen to. I listened to the podcast. I thought, well, that was really good. I enjoyed listening to that. Mm-hmm. So lo and behold, this past Saturday night, my in-laws are over. My family's sitting at the kitchen table, and my 15-year-old daughter, Dylan, says, "Oh, did you know that Grammy and Papa did the podcast with Stugotz?" I'm like, "Yeah." So she is smart enough and technologically savvy enough to be able to put that podcast, which I didn't even know there was actual video of, on our kitchen TV as we're eating dinner. And as we're eating dinner, we're all watching this podcast, and we're not laughing. We're hysterical laughing, okay? To the point where I can't believe what I'm watching. I'm like, I listened to this and had one perspective, but watching it is an entirely different animal. I guess it would be the equivalent of listening to a football game on radio and getting to watch it on HD TV and be like, wow, my father is f***ing clueless. He is oblivious. Okay? That was my reaction. And I'm texting you guys and I'm going, I cannot believe, like, what is he thinking? Like this, as my wife points out, my father comes to the house and he's like so quiet and so removed that we don't even know where he is in the house. Like he's gone and nobody knows if Papa is around or gone. And so I text you guys and you're like, you're probably looking for the chain, right? You can read it. But I said, one of the people in the chain, whether it was Mike or Billy, said, no, he was in that shot on purpose. And I said, no, there is, in all capital letters, 0% chance that my father had any idea that he was on camera. And that was the humor of it all. That I called him after. I'm like, what were you doing? Like, what do you, he said, I was trying to find a spot that would be out of the way of the podcast. I'm like, you picked the only spot in which we could laugh at you the entire time and mock you. It looked like you were sitting on a toilet during this podcast the entire time. He had no idea that he was on.
Mikey A at one point texted you, I think he was doing it on purpose. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
0 chance. Okay. There is no part of his mind that is technologically savvy enough, media savvy enough to understand that he was doing that on purpose. He was completely an innocent bystander. He was sitting there initially, and it looked like he was taking a crap the entire time during the entire podcast, and you guys spotted him, Jeff Schefter, Adam Schefter's spot, as it looked like he was taking a crap, but he was just sitting off to the side, trying to be out of the way of the whole thing. And everybody at the table was cracking up.
Your mom was insisting that he was not doing that to be out of the way. There was a reason. He likes to be in the shot. He likes to mess with her.
No. She was just saying that he picked a spot
right
that he thought he would not be seen, where he could listen, could listen to what was going on. And I'm like, you could have sat anywhere in the house and listened to what was going on, but you chose to sit in a spot that made it look like you were taking your crap while Mom spoke to them the entire time on this podcast. That's the truth. And even like one of our family friends' sons, who I'm buddies with, he called me this past week. He was going through a tough time. One of his friends got a horrible medical diagnosis. And so we talked for a while. And then later in the day, I'm like, hey, when you get a moment, watch this. And I sent him the actual, YouTube video. And he sent me back a text that says, hold on. So back a text said, he goes, your dad's the GOAT. I really needed that laugh. Thank you, pal. I haven't laughed like that in a long, long time.
See, we laugh and you were ashamed. See, that's how it works with parents, right?
I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't ashamed. I was watching, and I said to him, man, I go, and what are you doing walking up to the camera like that with that shirt? Like your belly is in the shot. Do you realize your head's not in the, like, what are you doing? And he's like, I've lost weight since. I said, good. That's great. That's great. But, let's be a little bit self-aware of how we are presenting ourselves. Like, oh my God. And he goes,
I'm with Billy. Billy just said, Mom and Dad can do whatever the hell they want.
Give him a hard time. They were great.
He did say, he goes, I think they know I know what I'm talking about with football. I said, oh yeah, they know what you're talking about. They do know that. Yes. You know what you're talking about football. Yes, Papa.
That's all he cared about.
That's all he cared about.
They're wonderful. I mean, they are so great. They were so great to us. Was Dylan mortified, or how was Dylan with this whole thing?
No, we were all
laughing,
incredibly amused.
Yes,
incredibly amused, because it was very them. And it took, when my mother told the story of the Boston Marathon, which is a pretty good story.
It's a good story.
It's a good story, and we have many stories like that, despite the fact that I am the one that lives the boring life.
Right. Well, they have a weekly segment on the show now, so we'll get all of them. I promise you.
well, let me say this. I was going to say to you that was where my mother most sounded like my mother. She started out a little bit apprehensive, which is very, very unlike her. Like,
right.
She is the life of the party, and she is always having fun and engaged, and she seemed on guard. I think because she doesn't want to say something that I'm going to be upset with. So you got her to loosen up as it went along. And if you do have them on again or weekly or whatever it is that you decide to do, I would imagine that she'll be that much looser when she's on. And hopefully Papa will have figured out a way to avoid staying in the shot the way he did the last time.
All right, we'll get you out of here. Yeah, I hope he does it. I want him in that same tank top, everything. I want him to change. But he thinks he killed it, right?
He did.
Well, no. All he
cared
about, all he was happy about was that you guys knew that he could stand his own and talk football.
Right.
Yeah. Good job, Papa.
He was great. Yeah, he was great. He was great. He has an outlet every week now. He can talk about football and fill as much time on the show as he like.
That's fine. You know what? And I'll tell you, if you get a sponsorship deal, like with a phone carrier, then they would have a phone deal before I've ever had a phone deal. And that would be very insulting. Like this past year, Dylan for Nickelodeon, she initially got nominated by them as Best Emerging Talent. So she was put into a pool with about a dozen people, where they picked 5 nominees for an Emmy. And honestly, as a parent, we all wish for our children the best things, the greatest things, and they come before us. And that literally would have been the case, because had she gotten the final nomination, then she would have been nominated for one more Emmy than I've ever been nominated for during my time in television. So that would be something if Dylan somehow wins an Emmy before I ever win my first Emmy, and my parents land a sponsorship phone deal before my agents have ever been able to come through to get me a phone deal. Right. So like there are certain goals I have in life, certain things that are on my bucket list. Like I'd like to win an Emmy one day. I've been in the business for 35 years. I've never been nominated for one. I'd like to get a phone deal. I was able to bring my phones on set on TV, and I was on my phone, my BlackBerry.
It's amazing you don't have
anyone ever did that. Yeah, and I've never gotten a phone. My agents are not good enough to get a phone deal. That's ridiculous. They've failed in that area. So if you have my parents on, and somehow through one of your sponsors, you get them a phone deal or sponsorship deal to sponsor the Schefter phone plan, whatever it may be, and Dylan gets, like, again, there are certain things that I failed at in life, and that would be another area to reaffirm the boring life that Billy has accused me of having.
I'm sorry. I regret saying that.
You hurt his feelings.
It seems like that cut deep.
No. Again, it's true. We are validating it. We are affirming it. So my feelings are not hurt by it.
You can only have one, an Emmy or a phone deal. Which one? Phone deal.
Because I've seen over the years how these Emmys have gone. I go, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but a phone deal.
A phone deal, yeah. I'll go buy an Emmy. I'll go get an Emmy made. An Emmy presenting to myself.
All right, you're great. Your family is great. We appreciate you trusting us and allowing us to do that. I don't know if I would hand over the same trust to anybody with my parents, but thank you, because they're wonderful.
My mom would be entertaining and very engaging and fun for people. Everybody that she's around like that loves her. Is that Bryson again?
Yeah.
Another nervy par putt coming.
Really?
Yeah.
You gonna be okay?
We need some birdies here to make my Friday nice and simple and easy and stress-free, right?
Yeah,
stress-free shots.
Something tells me you don't have any stress-free Fridays. So.
No, not many.
All right. Let us know, or perhaps Shirley will let us know when Tua signs a long-term deal with the Dolphins. Okay.
Yeah, that would be something if Shirley and Jeffrey broke that news. Yeah. As my father sitting upon the throne.
Throw him a bone once in a while,
There you go.
All right, man. We appreciate it. Your family's great. They are wonderful. We enjoyed spending a little time and getting to know them just a little bit, and it's not hard to see how you became such a great guy. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you to Billy for running into them on the elevator. Thank you all for putting them on, and thank you for making their life in Boca. What do they call it in Seinfeld?
The Boca Vista.
Boca Vista.
Boca Vista. Right. Oh yeah. Listen. We have a date at 2 J's. I'm telling you that right now.
Thank you for making their life in Boca Vista. There you go.
You got it, man. Thank you for trusting us.
Have a great week, guys. Happy Father's Day to all.
Okay. Same to you, Adam. Thanks.